All right, so this paper, if you don't have the homework that looks like this, it's on the back counter. But a lot of us got it last week, so I don't want you to get it again and totally restart if you already got it last week. Plan book is 412. 412 was already in your plan book, like last Thursday, the Thursday before last Thursday, I think. Yeah, because like that's when we did the house design thing, but the house design paper was not homework. That usually. Well, I see you back now. I know you have your phone. You just hadn't gone down. Okay, so I'm recording. So here's the weird thing. Come over here. Say hi to yourself. And like stand right there and just look into the camera and say hi, Jimmy. Hi, Jimmy. You get to say hi to yourself. If you go watch the video, it'll be posted by lunch. You get to have a little inception moment if you go watch the video. You said hi to yourself. All right, so if you don't have 412, you're going to need that. But before we talk about 412, put the mastery in front of your face. I think I have everyone's masteries. So Elias, you don't have yours right now, but you can go ahead and do the graph paper part of this. I have his mastery now, thank you very much. He gave it to me. Sometimes I know what I'm talking about. Occasionally. Trust, when we were taking the subway, it was like a 50-50 chance that I knew what I was talking about. Not the sandwich shop, the thing that gets you around New York City. Unless your mastery says see me for M, which then just don't do anything on your own, just come see me. If it says fix for mastery, you could still come see me to talk through those. But if it just says NF or progressing, you're not going... Give me your eyes. I got people not listening. I just see everyone's eyeballs on me. You're not going to write anything else on the test paper. You're not going to write anything else on your previous graph paper. You're going to label this graph paper Chapter 3, Mastery Revisions. And then you're going to make sure your name is on it. So if I need to do a revision on number 1, I'm going to label my paper 1 and then write whatever revision I need to do. And then probably like section it off before I move on to number 2. But if I don't need to do a revision on number 2 or number 3, maybe the next thing I need to do a revision on is number 4. For the word problems, you do not need to copy the word problem down. But for like number 4, if I went to revise that, everyone look at your number 4 on your test paper, I would probably need to draw what they started with. And you don't have to draw like the box around this, but if you want to, you can. Right? It's these diamond problems. Top is product, bottom is sum. So I need to figure out what goes in here if I got it wrong. Or, I mean, you could write, I guess if you want to write with words like, well, the right answer would be whatever and whatever, like you could, or you could just show it like we showed it on the test. For help on this, everyone read point 4 right here. Anyone want to read it out loud?
I'll read it, Mr. But I'm not sure when you guys read it.
Yeah, I just figured maybe we could wake up a little bit. I get it, we just came back from break. Schoology! Schoology! Hey, check it. 2 places. In the updates. I know I said the bad word. I wanted it to be easy to find. But it relates to Chapter 3. So inside of Chapter 3, Mastery Help and Review of Problems and Tips. Here's the Chapter 3 Mastery Review kind of help video, whatever you want to call it. I will say I'm not going to go super in-depth to these problems. Hey, look, it's me. So this is last year's test. I rearranged the order of the questions a little bit, but it's all the same questions. They might be slightly different. But if you need help making these revisions, you can come talk to me. Or You can talk to past me, not really talk to. You can get help from past me.
So then as we head into positive, right? Pencil.
So I go quickly through the whole, it's 10 minutes, 11. But I go quickly through the whole thing. You can even, if you think I go too slow for you.
So this isn't quite, you gotta have a simple negative, but it's pretty close to it. This was on your homework.
Okay, I don't suggest doing that. It's just funny when you speed yourself up to double time. All right, so Schoology has our help video. Right now, take your mastery and that graph paper. Put them together in your binder. Like, I should hear a lot of clipping right now. I'm going to awkwardly stare at you until these go in your binder. Because we're not working on the mastery right now. Revisions are yours to work on. Whether you're putting this in your homework section or like the front of your math binder. Do you keep a separate math binder? Jackson, do you want to borrow a binder for today? Then you want to borrow just a binder for today, like for all of your classes. I'm going to get you a super sticky post-it, put your name on the front. Jackson, blue, green, or orange? What? I'm trying to give you the middle one. Alright. Then you put your name on there. Alright, then 412 should be in front of you. 412. That's not 412. That's 412. And a piece of graph paper. 412 and a piece of graph paper. Now, are you sure you didn't have it? Because I don't want you guys restarting stuff you already put work into. Cool. I mean, I just want to make sure we're not doing work twice. Not finished, right? Like you need to finish. So like your grade is essentially you're progressing towards finishing, right? Progressing towards mastery. I can't mark an NF on math. It's either NP, P, M, or E, right? So progressing just means like you're still working on it. Like I was telling you, that 10-minute video for me, there's a lot of help in that video. Like whatever question you would have potentially asked me, I probably read your mind and answered it in that video because I've been doing this for a few years. All right, if none of you want to read 412, I'm going to start picking random cards. So you can either volunteer or you can have a 1 in 12 chance. All right, Jackson, will you read us what's going on in 4-13? So then we need to answer right. How many feet does each inch represent? And really that's going to tell us our scale. So I need you and your partners to, maybe if you weren't totally listening, maybe going back and highlighting would help us. The garage. You guys should have highlighters at your table somewhere. The bins are still out. So the garage. I need you to chat with each other. Try to figure out what does that 1 inch equal here. Like, well, what's going on? This obviously is not 20 feet on your paper. What is our scale? Chat with each other for like a minute or so. What is our scale? You got 20 and 25. Where do you think those go? Otherwise, what do you think the 20 matches? Because it tells you the 20 and 25 go with what part of the house? So, make sure you read the actual dimensions of the garage. I would maybe highlight the word garage in orange and then highlight garage at the garage, we've got a smaller number and a bigger number, right? All right, well, San's partner over here, Ellen. What are you thinking? Where's the 20 fit? Where would the 20 match to? The 1 or the 1 1/4? Why is that? Brilliant. All right, so this chapter is also going to have like an optional exemplary option or like opportunity. I guess saying option twice is kind of redundant. That involves withdrawing scale drawings. We'll get to that eventually. But this is a scale drawing somebody drew, right? And to draw a scale drawing, you have to choose a scale. So Elijah, were you guys able to figure out what our scale is here, or like what 1 inch would equal? How'd you figure that out? You're right. Just how'd you guys figure that out? Do you remember? You want to move on, pick more people. You tell me. Sure, throw it to Jackson.
How can we figure out that 1 inch is 20? But he gives me 20 and 25. Hold on, Elijah wants it back. Okay.
And what's the garage drawn as? When he drew the garage, he drew it how big by how big? One inch by 1 1/4 inches. Smaller number, bigger number. Smaller number, bigger number. So our scale that we can answer on our paper, Elijah told us, let's write this down. 1 inch is 20 feet. So let's like off to the top right here, because a lot of times you'll find your scale next to the drawing. 1 inch equals 20 feet. So I want you guys to try to figure out with each other what are the actual, well, both the scale and the actual. So try B and C, and if you get those done, go ahead and try to move on to D, but you need to fill in anything else that we can. So I guess maybe we should do part of this together. So Reese, will you read part B for us? Ooh, so the length and width of the living room. So our living room is right here. Major, what do they already tell us about the living room? Yeah, we know the length, if we're calling like the bigger one the length, is 2 inches. Do we know what this edge will measure? Do you know, Major? On the scale drawing, Liam? How do you know that? Oh, it's on the, it shares a wall, right? So if our garage wall is 1 1/4 inches, our living room wall is 1 1/4 inches. So wait, 2 inches. Josh, what are you thinking? If this wall is 2 inches, how many actual feet is it going to be? Ooh, 40. That wasn't bad, right? Because 2, we just double our inches, double our feet. I need you guys to figure out how many feet does this wall equal. Chat with each other, and then see if you can start talking about part D with trying to put down some carpet. And carpet's way more expensive than this these days. But we'll figure out if this was the size of their living room, and we want to put down carpet. So first off, how long is this wall actually in real life, like IRL? It took me a long time to figure out what that meant. Actually, I will admit, I had to ask somebody, what does this mean? What are those dimensions IRL?
know every 1 inch is 20 feet. How much extra do we have with that quarter of an inch? Is the total or the extra? 25 extra. We're going to do 20 plus another 25. So here's what I'm maybe I'm missing this. This wall. How long is that wall? So now it's 1.25 inches. In inches. An inch was 20 feet. So we got 20 feet from the inch. How much extra do we have from the 1 foot?
This right here you're saying is 1 1/4 inches. So what was 1 1/4 inches over here?
A quarter of the 20 feet.
Everyone grab that graph paper that you most definitely have. The only person that forgot to get theirs, I think, is me. Guys, graph paper has way more features than what you realize depending on the graph paper. Did we talk about weighted graph paper in here at all? So, weighted graph paper has darker lines every so often, depending on like what you're trying to do. You choose different weights of graph paper. So this was like a game that I was making for somebody. That's Mickey's desk. That's a little castle that I made for a game. These are chess pieces. But the weights on the paper help you count more quickly. Like this is weighted every 2. Now, unfortunately, our graph paper isn't weighted, but it is designed very specifically. This graph paper, and you could label this like 4.1.2 if you would like, to have a label at the top of your paper is kind of nice. This graph paper, 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes, is 1 inch. So we could go ahead and draw that as kind of like a key on our graph paper. So if we start trying to copy this drawing onto graph paper to make things easier to work with, so leave yourself some space. We're going to start at the top left corner of the living room. If you want a ruler, it's going to make your life faster. Some of you need to wake up anyway, so get up and go grab a ruler if you want one. It'll make your life faster. All right, so from this top, hey, we should be working in pencil because a lot of drawing is erasing. Like I'm switching to pencil. A lot of drawing is erasing. From the top left corner, let's call that, I don't know, point A up here. From A, how far to the right should I go for the living room? 8 boxes because it's 2 inches. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I make a little checkpoint. 1, 2, 3, 4. I make a little checkpoint. And then I'm going to draw a little line down to remind myself that's where the wall stops. And this is where the wall started. To go 1 inch and a quarter. To go 1 inch and a quarter down, how many boxes? To go 1 1/4 inches to match this left wall of the living room. 5, right? Because if 4 boxes is 1 inch, now we go 1, 2, 3, that's 1 inch. An extra 1/4 of an inch. Just to give the shout out to my late uncle, which means like he passed away, right? A late somebody doesn't mean he was never on time. But my uncle, this is what he did for his career. He drew. He was an architect. This could potentially be like your job someday. So we're going to label this the living room. And let's go ahead and close in that box. Once you've got your length and width, if you know it's a rectangle, close it in. This is where a ruler would help you. Now let's go ahead and draw the garage. Mrs. Fisher, am I going too fast or are they keeping up? Let's go ahead and draw the garage if you can. I'm gonna come around and check if we're catching up. We'll draw that garage. We know it's 1 inch wide. It shares that 1 1/4 wall. But let's start labeling our drawing with the actual feet. Because I don't need to label it in inches. On my paper, I could measure how many inches it is. So if we're going to label how long the living room is, how long is that living room? You guys already told me. We already put it on the other paper. How long is the living room?
45.
It's 40. So let's label this 40 feet. Guys, here's the easier way to label feet. It's just 1 tick mark. To label feet, you can just give it 1 little tick mark. Ooh, and if we're going to say that this drawing, every inch is 20 feet, let's add to our scale up here. This is 1 inch, but let's go ahead and label that it is 20 feet. And like that's our reference for the whole drawing, is that 1 inch is 20 feet. So you guys said this 1 1/4 wall. The 1 1/4 was how long? 25. Because what else could we say about our scale if we're like counting boxes? What else could we kind of say about our scale if we're like counting boxes? Like, what's the length of each box? 5 feet, right? Because 5, 10, 15, 20. This is why we work with graph paper. Sure, 1 inch is 20 feet is convenient, but every box being 5, that's kind of nicer. You guys are probably ahead of me because I have not drawn my garage. Now, can we copy down the rest of his drawing? We know how big the dining room is? Do we know how big the kitchen or the office is? I don't know if he gave us enough info to copy the rest of his drawing. Do we know anything about this part of the house? And this is my friend Randy's job. He goes to the job site and gets all these dimensions. I'm not joking. He takes a fancy pants camera, sets it up, multiple of them actually. It scans the whole room, takes dimensions, he double checks things to make sure the computer's working right. Randy forgot to do his job and we don't have dimensions here. They're going to have to go back to the job site. But we can't, we got the living room in the garage, but we can't really draw the rest of the house right now. So let's go back to the question then of part D. Caroline, will you read question D for us? So $1.25 per square foot. I want you and your partner to see if you can figure out the area of the living room. So if we're going to do area of the living room, and guys, this can be on your graph paper because that's why we're using graph paper, so we got space. See if you can figure out the area of the living room. The area. Guys, I think some of us wished that we had taken better notes when we took our test last week, a couple weeks ago. Because the break, it all feels kind of weird now. So maybe we can take this chance to like take some good notes. Oh, your numbers are naked. That's why. Lakeland's got some naked numbers running around. Maybe they should go to the Lost and Found and get some clothes out. Hey, I'm going to remind you of this a bunch of times. Lost and Found will be donated at winter break. Lost and Found will be donated. All right, Liam. By the way, guys, I'm over here using random cards. I just have them on my desk. Liam, can you talk me through how we find area of a space? Oh, yeah, it's length times width, right? And this is just a rectangle. So we're going to do 40 times 25. And guys, putting parentheses right against each other, especially if you didn't write work, maybe write down some work so you know what you did. That's a nice way to show multiplication. You can put the dot between them, but you don't have to. So what's 40 times 25? 1,000 what? Ooh, your labels could be feet squared, or you could label like SQFT for square feet. Either of those labels works. Then, Jackson, what did you guys do next? Well, we just figured out the 1,000 square feet. What did you guys do next? We're trying to find the cost, right? Then why were you spending your time trying to cut apart Post-it notes instead of talking with Lakin? Sorry, I couldn't hear what you said, so I'm going to move on. Lakin, could you talk me through how to find the cost? Pause. $1.25. What? Hey guys, this means somebody did the somebody did the division. They took like the entire roll of carpet that would cost thousands of dollars, or whatever it would cost, and they did the division for every little square foot. I need you in your mind to visualize a foot by a foot. It's not very big, right? A square foot is not very big. That's why it's $1.25 per square foot. You're gonna buy a lot of those. All right, so $1.25 per square foot. Then you did what with that? So again, per tells us division, but since we got given the per, we need to now multiply. So we're going to take that $1.25. I would write this down. There might be a question like this on a quiz. Cough, cough, nudge, nudge. So times how many square feet we had, right? If it's $1.25 per square foot, we need to know how many square feet do we need. Okay, well, how many square feet do we need? 1,000. Because we just calculated 1,000 square feet up here. So my $1.25 times my 1,000 square feet that I need, what's that come out to be? 1,250. All right, now you guys ready for me to embarrass my mom? Don't do this while you're young. It might get you in trouble. But at this point, I mean, I guess my mom could tell me I can't have dessert at Christmas or something, but I don't think my mom's watching my YouTube channel. The one time I've heard my mother swear. Yeah, my mom was pretty by the book, very religious. The one time I heard my mom swear. We had gotten brand new carpet in the living room. I'm not making up this story, Scouts honor. This is the truth. New carpet in the living room. Don't think it was as big as in here, like this problem. My sister's painting her fingernails. Girls, what do you think happened?
She spilled nail polish.
The nail polish.
No, it's not her fault. The nail polish bottoms are actually so bad. I've done the same thing.
I agree.
And my mom literally beat me.
I agree. Look, I agree. Nail polish bottles are silly, but also she could like put down a blanket or something. But like, so because Guys, $1,000 for carpet? Think of how many like times you could go to Cedar Point with that. Or think of how many pizzas you could buy with that. Or, like, yeah, like $1,000 for carpet. That's why your parents care when you, like, stain or burn or, like, whatever. We have a fireplace. Well, the house we bought had a fireplace with carpet outside the fireplace. I don't know why, but I burned our carpet in our house. It smelled terrible. Because when the fire pops out accidentally, right? Really debating what to do with our final time. Let's together get a jump start on your practice. I was debating what to do, but I think maybe we'll do some more, like, because we only have 5 minutes, so I don't really want to dive deep into a problem. Let's look at Mrs. Poppington. All right, so, Clayton not here. Clayton feel better. Oh, and would you like to read for us? I'm not going to make anybody read, but all right, will you read about Mrs. Poppington? Yeah, just read question 17. Hey, pause for a second. Hey, guys, I don't know if we, like, missed this part of elementary school, but when someone's reading, we don't, like, zone out. We listen to what they're reading, and our eyes are following along with them. We're not playing with a ruler. We're not staring at a partner. We're reading along with them, so we actually take the words in. Sorry, Owen, go ahead.
She talked with the landscapers who were replacing the sod in the park near the visitor center. The part of the lawn being replaced is shown in the diagram at right.
Yeah, okay, it's down here, but I've moved things around over the years. All right, so measurements are in yards. Uh-oh, we got to remember what yards are. Who can help us with a yard, Liam? 1 yard is 3 feet. We should probably make that note. One yard is 3 feet. So on the graph at the right, we're going to make a scale drawing of the lawn that is being replaced. Now wait. They didn't tell us everything here, but I think we can figure out what they didn't tell us. So by the way, because this drawing's a little weird, and that's also why I decided we should come down and do it. This, look up at the screen, this is 10. The 3 is going to this side. I know it's kind of awkwardly like close to this, but the 3 is right there. Ooh. Starting over. Elias, you got any ideas of how we could figure out this left side that they didn't tell us? They told us, they didn't tell us the left side, but they did tell us the right side. Sorry, this is an arrow. I know it looks kind of weird now. If this is 6 and this is 3, what would over here be? Yeah! This, we can go ahead and fill in the label of that must be 3, because this is 6. So major, what about the bottom then? They told us that, now hold on, don't just answer randomly. They told us 10 was this part, and then the other top was 4. So where we subtracted to get over here, do we need to subtract those numbers to put the 2 tops to the bottom? Jackson's trying to help you out. Maybe we should throw to Jackson for a second. What are you thinking, Jackson? Not quite. Yeah, the 3 is not part of this, dude. I said that. This is 10. So we need to add, hey guys, look up at the screen. This was 10. This was 4. So together, to get all the way across, we are 14. Hey, so let's pick a corner to start at. If we start right here, let's start drawing this drawing. So if you start by going up, we'd go up 3, right? Remember 3 like box lengths. So it gets a little misleading with the points, but this is 3 because it's box lengths, right? I can kind of count those 3 boxes. Counting the 14 over is going to be tricky. I would make some checkpoints. I'd maybe mark like every 5 or something. If you aren't taking this chance to get some homework done, I don't understand why. Oh, I think it uses the whole thing. Our 14 across, I think, uses the entire thing. Yeah, maybe. Confirmation, question mark?
Yes.
Then we got to do our 6 up on the right side. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4 across the top. 3 down. 10 across. We got our nice L-looking yard. The L is also what they call the like subway in Chicago because it's elevated. Yeah, it's, instead of being like a subway, most of it's above ground. Phoenix used to go to Chicago like every year. Then we started to change up where we went. So remember, each of these are in yards, right? So this is 3 yards. This was 14 yards. So even though we're drawing it at like a 1-to-1 scale, it's not 1-to-1 real size. It's 1 box is 1, but it's 1 yard, right? So we're using 1-to-1 there, but it's not like drawing at real size. It's scaled down. All right, that's all the time we got for today. Please clip this somewhere safe. We're not in a rush. Clip your papers somewhere safe. I'm watching you guys. Pull something out to clip those in. I don't want to see the papers disappear. Nope. Those cannot just disappear into the abyss of the backpack. Thank you. Oh, and where are those going? Ha! I rhymed without even, Oh, and where are those going?